Well, we
thank
certainly
you so
appreciate
much.
it
We
very
really
much.
do.
We appreciate
That
it.
was a real true treat to be able to come over and see all this, really.
Yeah, isn't it?
You just go by on the road and
It's
you
a
know,
treat
you
for me,
really.
but I haven't been down in here in years and years and years. And as I say, when I was a young guy, I used to be in here every day.
I haven't been here in quite a while. It's quite a change, you know. I took care of Paula and Carl and Mary, but after then I stopped. And when I moved to the village, I didn't do it too much. But I used to be here. We'd wander all around, you know, the kids and that, you know, we'd go all. Because the Thorns weren't here then. We could walk through.
It'll be fun when we get the horses.
Yeah.
He's nice, isn't he? I mean, he's pleasant.
Oh, yeah.
Very pleasant man.
That fellow's not local, is he?
The horseman? Yeah.
Is he local?
Well, not originally. He comes from the south.
Yeah, because I read it where he's come from what?
South Carolina or somewhere, I think.
They hired him and set him down to
Well, he worked.
study.
He worked at Coast Burn Stud.
Yeah.
For a while.
Brian, there's grapevines right in here. In this greenhouse.
They've been in there for an awful long time.
They look very old, Charlie.
They are. They always had grapes in here. Come in here.
Come in here and pick grapes, did you really? Really?
To say, I haven't been in here in awful.
Beautiful.
You see that little bridge down there?
That's the little, what?
This one right here, this little bridge right here? Yeah.
Every once in a while, somebody will come down through there. And somebody come down through there and just about meet on that bridge. And if somebody was being a little bit careless, kaboom.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess it's not
It's only
that
one car
that
wide
wide,
here.
yeah. And here's the big dam over here.
Yeah.
And look at that pavilion. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh,
They even
wow.
got the wrought iron gateway doors on there.
Yeah. All these flower beds here.
Yeah, well, you know, I guess for,
That's what I ought to do with
I
my
don't know, they
blackberry
put 'em-
bushes, put them up on a string like that.
Get out.
And I'll kill myself. Every time I reach in for a black, I can never get back out
Yeah.
without bleeding.
What? 19. Just before 1920, maybe. About then.
And that was built for Margaret Parshall? Or?
Yep.
Who lives in there now, Charlie? Do you know?
I don't know. No. I don't know.
I know that was it George Wing, did you say?
Somebody told me George was living in there one time.
I had said that because I had come over and he had sharpened like our horse some clippers and some things like that.
Yeah, you were the one who
Yeah.
was living there.
Yeah. Brian, why don't you get a shot of the pool from this angle? I mean, that pool is
Imagine
unreal.
having that in your back, in the back end of the house.
I think it's probably square footage is probably about what the size of my house.
Something like that, and go skinny dipping in January, couldn't you?
And look at the size of this barn, and they're scraping the whole thing and going to paint it. Gorgeous.
When I was a kid, that was a sheep barn.
Mm-hmm.
They had a lot of sheep here. Do you remember Jim Asbury, the lawyer?
I know the name, but I don't
Well,
know.
he lived up above us there. He died a few years back. But his father was in charge of them when he first came over from England. He was a sheep man.
Oh,
And
really?
they lived up in the house up next to the state road up there. And then after that, he was manager of the whole farm operation here.
And look at that silo's all made of tile.
Yeah. Nice to keep all the things trimmed.
As he said, it takes them 2 months when they start to trim the ewes.
Sure.
And just look at this fence with the little finials on top of the post. Just to keep all that painted and repair. My goodness. So beautiful.
Well, Mrs. Thorne, the original Mrs. Thorne, was very much gardens. In fact, I think she It was one of the ones that started the Garden Club of America.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And look at how those like trellises there, those are wrought iron, which of course
sure.
is great because they won't deteriorate. But these others are wood.
Yeah.
They have like aluminum flashing on the top, but still.
I remember when they built that wall.
You remember when they built the wall, Charlie?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It's interesting because it's built so that air and sun can actually filter through.
Yeah.
And that trellis, that gate, the trellis forms the gate to the garden. So
Well,
pretty.
none of this was haphazard, you know. This is all designed.
I guess. Just beautiful.
Little things up on top there.
Yeah, all little finials. I'm just amazed that they only have 2 men taking care of the ground. He said in the summer they hire a boy, but that's not much.
No, look at the damn lawnmower.
I know. See, we'd just be continually mowing lawns.
Yeah.
It would be a never-ending
Yes.
procedure. That stable is, And look, they even have window boxes with the impatiens in them. See, in front of the windows there?
Sure.
Oh, beautiful.
Did one of the present, the old people, of course, of the present Italian families build this? Rotundos or not safaris? They're younger, I think. Rotundos, maybe?
Oh, the wall you're talking about there?
Yeah, the brick.
Yeah, I think they did. I think that was local job. I think.
One of the masons. Yeah. Oh.
I don't know whether they built it or whether maybe Patron Galupa might have built it.
Oh, he said maybe the open. What the wall was asking about the wall?
They were in business then. They could have.
I wonder who lives in this house here. Look just at the size of this house.
He said there's 2 person.
Oh, really? Those are
The apartment on the other side is empty, but the one on
That
the
used to
side.
be the carriage house, and then it was the
Somebody-
garage with
This
apartments.
used to be the carriage house?
And then it was the garage, and the apartments upstairs. There's 2 apartments upstairs.
Carol used to live in one end of it.
Really?
That's what, where is she?
Oh, she has her own car. Fran has her own car.
Yeah, that's what she told her.
Are we?
No, that doesn't matter. Oh, okay. Okay, you're gonna run right
I'm
with
gonna
Helen.
run with
Okay.
them.
Oh, okay. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You want? Okay.
Going where? One car coming.
Tell me more.
One car coming one way, one coming another. Nobody. Nobody paying attention.
I knew what you were thinking.
Oh, you always do us.
I just can't get over the size of this barn. It is so long.
Yeah. Well, they didn't do anything in a half big fashion.
Or even in a small fashion.
Now you see some of that much money in a small cottage.
Yes.
There's probably about 5 cottages.
Yeah. One here and one there.
One time during the First World War, a lot of high school kids, you know, they were 17 or 18. They got summer jobs on these places. See how crooked and narrow this is?
Mm-hmm.
A fellow by the name of Bill Murky belonged up in Rhinebeck. He was working down here, and they had a little keep left. That goes right down around the back of the house. And anyway, they had a little kind of a dump cart and a white mule.
Excuse me for interrupting you, Charlie, but see, Brian, here, you can see
Oh,
how they're
yeah, what-
scraping the house in there.
That's what's
See,
going on. They're getting it prepared for the,
Everything go to pot.
Yeah, see how they're drilling the holes, and then that's what how they're blowing the insulation into all
I
those
passed it a
holes.
week ago, saying, what in heaven's name are they living?
I know. Then I saw them all the time.
Yeah.
Now they find it took 2 weeks for me to find out what was going on.
Sally, can you get through here anymore?
I don't know.
We used to go back and forth. There's a road right through the woods that came out on the
That's the Boy Scout camp up there.
down. And that
Somebody's
road,
been up there.
that road came down where Mrs. Bush lives down there now.
Oh, really? I don't think so. That's the Boy Scout camp road, isn't it? No?
Yeah, I think so.
I've been up there.
We used to go back and forth through there all the time.
Oh, I didn't realize it intersected with Bush.
right down their backyard.
You were telling us about up in Rhinebeck, Charlie?
Well, this Bill Murphy, he drove that white mule on the dump cart. And I've forgotten now, somebody else was coming down through there the same way we came. And Bill was coming the opposite way with the mule and the dump cart. They came together. They knocked the dump cart head over tail. The mule jumped up and jumped down on the front of the car. They had a hell of a mess there.
But if you're going to have better than $100,000 animals in there, I guess you've got to do it that way.
And down between the house and the shed,
The road used to come in front of the house? Or?
well, on this side of all the barn, yeah, in here.
Oh, really?
On this side of all the barns. And they changed it and put it up here a while back.
I wonder who lives in that house now.
They rent that to
Yellow lived in it for a while there.
can't think his name.
Oh, and people that run the farm don't live there?
No.
Oh, that's a rental. I see.
Man, they were still going on.
Yeah, I'll be on all day.
Old converted,
This is the
Coal burner. and it burns oil, and it burns a lot of it. So the project for this summer, we got a new roof last year. This year we're getting a furnace. Yeah.
You can't shut too much off, you know.
Well, there are no zones, and you can't turn. If you turn off the radiator, turn off all the heat, it'll freeze.
Sure. Yeah.
So we keep it at
Do that.
55, which is as low as we can set it, and put a kerosene heater in the kitchen, a wood stove in the family room, and electric blankets on the bed. And we actually make it all right. It's just that you run from one place to the other. Is there anything?
This was built on right here.
I think this was a porch originally,
you
like
closed it
the
in.
like the back porch.
Yes,
and
that's
then when Bordini bought it, he closed it in brick. And then when Karen Martin bought it and put the siding on, she just thought that brick was really a profanation of a lovely old place. So she put the siding
She
on
put
it.
the siding, aluminum siding.
Oh yes, we would never have bought the house without siding.
Yeah.
To have just the soffits and the windows painted is incredible. It took the painter 2 weeks just to do that.
Yeah.
So,
No, that was just an open porch years
Yes.
ago.
and it's very handy, really. We
Oh, sure, it's like a mud room.
yeah,
Shed
mhm,
house,
and we
my
keep
son
our
used to call it.
and we keep our wood there for the stove, so we don't have to run out each time we run out of wood, run outside to get it.
Well, it really looks lovely.
You all probably know more about the house than I
I was
do.
going to say, she probably can tell you
Yes,
about it.
I've been
I'm
in
sure
it.
she can.
I don't know that I can tell you anything about it.
I know that it was built in 1825 by Isaac Merritt for the middle daughter, I think her name was Eliza, of Philip Hart. The first daughter lived there, and the second daughter lived here, and the third daughter lived next door. And I don't think it changed hands a lot, but I don't know its history. And I know it was a great big farm, and of course you would remember that.
Yeah, peaches and strawberries.
Yes, that's what I hear
Peaches
all
like
the
that,
time.
and big
every one of
strawberries.
those peach trees is dead.
Beautiful. Isn't that a
Every one.
shame?
Really?
They were dead when we got here. There's still apple trees and pear trees, but no more peach trees.
Peaches don't last long anyway.
So many years, and then they're supposed to be renewed.
They don't last.
we bought peaches here.
They don't last long at all.
Let me take this so you can take a picture.
Oh,
Thank
that's
you.
beautiful.
That's what I've heard. In fact, there are 2 peach trees on what would have been this property at one time. And we still have a branch or 2, and they put out about 10 peaches, and we went up and stole the ones that were edible, because nobody lives back there. And they were so good. So,
And apples.
I'm trying to think if I know anything more about the house, and I really, oh, I wanted to show, you wanted to see that map?
Yes. Oh, look, it says 1825 on it.
Yeah, straight through. If you'd like, you can come in.
It's up to you. It's,
Well, I'm not really prepared,
Yeah,
but it's all right. We can go in this door. This one's locked, I think.
This says 1825 on this section.
Yeah,
huh?
and that's what I think.
I
Oh,
thought that was a caterpillar.
I'm glad it wasn't. And my father says it was built in 3 sections. He's been up in the walls in the attic. And he said that it's not just the 2 sections that it looks like, it was 3, and that's why the porch is crooked to the windows, or the windows are crooked to the door.
Oh, yes. Right.
And so he says
You don't
that
notice that though.
No, you don't.
I didn't know it until my dad mentioned it.
Very seldom ever done a thing like that.
Yeah?
It's in the middle of the house. Like that over there.
Evidently, this part just sort of they added on to it. And
Yeah, unusual the way they put those little
Little knobs. Yeah, yeah.
The trouble they went to do that?
yeah.
must be ventilation.
And I'll tell you, with 3 windows in each room, you get lots of air circulation, which is lovely in the summer. Not too terrific in the winter.
Also, don't you?
These trees are old.
Mm.
Beautiful view though.
We're back.
Oh,
Look way down.
what a gorgeous, just a
See it.
good dome.
He has an old house too.
Right into the window frame. What is intended there?
She was asking you something. The papering?
Did you do the painting?
We did most of the papering on this first floor and did beautiful work. We put in the chandelier and had the floor refinished and painted the but she had done the wallpaper. And
very pretty.
I love it. Well, I think in a house this size, when you go to buy it, if you didn't like the wallpaper, you couldn't buy the house. It's just too much to redo all at once.
Is that big?
Beautiful. True.
What I wanted to show you is this map. Because it's an old map of Harts Village. If you all want to look at that. And, let me see, where are we? Ours has, right there is us. So,
Prospect Hill, it
Yeah.
says. Yeah, J. Merritt.
mhm,
Yeah, right up there.
Right there. Lee, can you see it?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dutchess Turnpike, they call it.
uh-huh.
They call it the bypass. Or we did.
Sharon
And now
Turnpike.
it's 44A.
Well, they've got, what do they have, something branch, Sharon Branch of Dutchess Turnpike, because 44 is Dutchess Turnpike.
Yeah.
You all want to
Yeah,
look at that? I thought that was published by the Washington Historical Society. It was published by somebody, it's a reproduction.
We do have a map, but it isn't like that one.
Mary Downing has a wonderful map. It's colored. It's up on the wall, and it
Can you
shows this
see,
area
Austin? Oh, there.
better than anyone I've seen. You know, I'm so tempted to ask her if I could
That's
take
even
it and
before the
copy it or
railroad was
something,
built.
but I
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah.
Yeah, it would be marvelous to have.
Is it
Framed, it's framed, yeah.
Okay.
She's got a
Swift
wonderful.
was already there.
It wouldn't hurt the picture, would it, to,
Well,
now,
depends on how
to
what
make
paper
a
it's on.
copy of
Where
this
come in?
slide or any of them?
A copy with
Yeah.
glass.
Oh, I
Can
see.
you? Can you?
I think if the
Well, I mean,
photographer
you
knew what he
can't
was
take it out
doing, he
of the
probably
picture.
could have. Yes.
Oh, there was an Anson down in here too.
Is that a
Might have
painting?
been.
No, it's a pencil sketch. It's not this house.
Isn't it really? It looks
Mary
like
Dowling
it.
thought it was this house when she first glanced at it too. Now, that's where we lived in Virginia before we
You had
came
all
here.
that snow?
Yeah. Yeah, we had a couple of very hard winters before I came up here, and then you all had been winter before last was when we came. I said,
Isn't it? It's
handle
similar
these
to
ones.
your house, this house.
Yeah, very similar, but that's a brick house.
Yeah. Is it brick? Don't look it, but.
Well, it's hard to tell in the pencil sketch.
Yeah, I see.
It was a yellow brick.
Nice.
So it was
Well, you're
nice
used
house.
to a big house.
Well, that was a lot smaller than
Was it
this. It was
really?
9 rooms, and
Well, it
this has
looks
got to
big.
be have 12, and each room is larger
When
than
I
the
was
ones
here-
we had.
Last time I was here, Mrs. Downing was in that room, on a bed. She
Oh.
was sick, the old lady.
Yeah.
And I brought Teddy Smith's, Granny Smith up. Yeah, Mary's mother. Yeah. We came there, I think, and went in and visited her. Yeah, she was ill quite a while, I think, downstairs here.
It goes from.
It is nice. We haven't got it furnished the way we'd like. We'd like to have a tall
That's
page
pretty,
block, and
isn't
we'd
it?
like to have a real
Yes, this is
fancy
beautiful.
love
Lovely
seat with
pieces.
all the wood and just the upholstered seat. Lots of things we'd like to
That was
do,
a pretty
yeah.
one, too.
They didn't use that other room much. They always use this one.
Yeah.
And there was
Well, I
another,
find we
another
don't use
room
that
back
room.
in here.
Yeah, a little bitty one. I'll show you that one
That was
too.
kind of like a family room.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what Mary Downing said. She said they used to play there when they were little. They had the fireplace. Now the furnace goes up through that flue, and you can't use the fireplace.
Oh.
And she said they used to have their toy box there, and I have wicker in there because it's strictly a summer room. You can't go in there in the winter. There's no radiator in there.
Oh.
So it's.
Something how people suffered years ago.
Well, we heated this house on Thanksgiving. Well, the thermostat was set at 55, as it always was, but we heated the house with wood, and we had all the fireplaces, these 3 fireplaces going, and there's one upstairs, and then the wood stove, and the kerosene heater, and my father spent all day stoking the fires. All day long. And we were warm. We were pulling the furniture away from the fireplaces for fear it would catch fire.
Yeah.
It was hot in there.
But it kept him busy.
Yeah, oh, yes, yeah. And he wanted to see if it could be done. But we were starting with a 55-degree temperature, which is
Yes,
a
you
little
were,
better.
yes.
And I would not like to have to deal with that.
You would not want to have to depend totally on fireplaces.
No, and it would be a worry too, you know, something could start, no one was in the room.
I remember them having this one.
They're nice fireplaces.
Nice
Yeah,
and
this one
beautiful.
works magnificently. Now, I understand that Karen Martin put these mantles in because she was trying to return to the original look of the house because it evidently was very Victorian. When they put the radiators in and that kind of thing, they had the black marble fireplaces, and she didn't like that, so she took those out and restored the simple
This is like
ones,
mine.
which is more to the original period of the house.
I would say that was the same one, you know. If I
You don't
I don't think you remember, you remember the overall, but the specifics.
The woodwork is beautiful.
I wasn't aware of things like that.
No.
This is the Downing had a desk over there in that corner. That was in the brick. Well, that's good.
Oh, this is pretty.
Oh, wow.
There may have been
Yeah.
more.
Beautiful.
That
Oh, look, right from the front to the back. Oh, my.
And the time that Con Martin got it, Bordini had done some work in here. Now, there was another door in that room right in there that we just came out of. There was another door in that wall.
And there was a hall.
There is still a hall there, but there was a door in that room that went to the hall, and that door is gone now. And I think in here, Bordini did very poor work, but he had some good ideas, and I think that this door used to be here. You can see the outline. And he took it and shoved it over so that it never worked out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it was a good idea, but he did a poor job. So, but it took me 2 weeks to paint this room with all the cutting in. And
Oh, I guess. I would imagine, I would say you did very well
I
doing it in
worked
2
about
weeks.
7 hours a day at it, and then my husband came in and helped at the end. And he had done the patching and all to start with.
They're beautiful, the furniture.
Oh, thank you.
That's what touches it off, really. You
It
know,
would just be nice if I had some curtains, and I still haven't decided what I'm gonna do with those
No, I
windows.
don't even miss them.
Well, I would go without them, except that they are a sort of a finishing thing. I would be tempted just to leave the windows. But naked shades aren't really very attractive. But I don't want to cover that woodwork. Whatever I do, I'm gonna do inside the woodwork.
yes,
And I think I know what I want to do, and now I just have to find a way to get it up there. So,
you worked hard to get it up there, painting.
I love the blue.
oh, thank you.
Have you ever visited that country curtain place at Stockbridge, Mass?
I have heard
In the Red
about
Lion
it.
Inn?
Uh,
They make them right there. It's a nice shop, and I
it's
think
in
if
the
you
Red
had,
Lion.
yeah, the people that own the Red Lion started the curtain. I bought curtains there, and
I'll have to look there.
I'm sure if you had ideas and something that they
That's a good
really would
idea.
go on.
Beside of it.
It's really
I'll have to go there. I've been up that way, but I hadn't been
Yeah.
shopping exactly. I was
Yeah.
just sort of passing through.
That's right. It's in the back of the Red Lion Inn.
I had heard that there's a fella in Millbrook who's real interested in railroads. Does he belong to the historical?
Right here.
Is that the railroad? Oh, I'm not gonna let you get away. I have to talk to you.
Good.
But anyway, across the hall is that little room you were talking about.
No problem with the furniture, just show me the frame.
Oh, that's
yeah,
Williamsburg. Yeah.
This wall is so far from finished. We know he things, you know, on the walls and that kind of thing.
I have 2 of those
Very much
beside
so.
here next to my mother's wedding day.
My mother used to
Well, we've been
have
wanting to have it repaired, and we didn't want to put it out in one of the barns and let it get
There's a
worse.
good man in Pine Plains that does that.
Oh, is there?
Carl.
Oh, Carl.
Carl.
Is it Carl?
Will he do the,
Get it dry.
will he do the woodwork though too?
This is where we used to play.
This room has the furnace flue in the fireplace, so we can't open it, so it's a very cold room in the winter in case the bathroom up over it
Well,
froze
it's nice
this
for
winter.
summertime, you have
Yeah,
this different then.
Isn't this
I
a
love the
cute
paper.
little?
Oh, yes, Corin Martin did all the papers. The only paper I've done is the kitchen and an upstairs bathroom or two. But basically, the papers were here. And so I think she did a marvelous job.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the
choice of
papers. Now, you say the furnace flue runs up in the
Yeah.
chimney.
Yeah, and that's why we can't open that fireplace.
Yeah?
So that's about it.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful.
You know, it takes an awful lot of wood for all those fireplaces.
Oh, let me tell you. Well, we lose an oak tree every year. It's very sad. But since we've been here, up in the grove up there, around about October, the winds come through and the leaves are still on the oak trees and one of them will go. The dead ones are still standing, but yeah, and it's firewood for years. Talk to me about it at some point when it's convenient for you. Because Lois,
He made your map right here because you didn't know where you got it.
that's fine. I'll hang it back up and when he comes in, I'll show you my pictures. Because Lois Rigelow told me there was a person in Millbrook who was very into railroads. And I have a picture that my great-grandfather drew, and I wanted to know how I could find out something about it.
Well, he'll tell you.
Okay, now I just have to get it out. I just had it ready.
Your great-grandfather drew this?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Evidently, it says J. Baird Delineator. And that's, let me I just didn't know if you can find out about railroad engines or not. It says what it is.
That's an antique one.
Yeah, well, it was drawn in 1880, I think, or thereabouts. One of the pictures I have three more that are not this nice, that are dated.
That's a lovely picture. Lovely.
Well, I took them in, they were all rolled up, and I took them into Toby Collins to ask him who could restore them for me because they were so terrible. And whether it was worth having them restored, and he said it was.
Oh, sure.
So,
Who restored them for you?
Tom Edmondson up in Torrington, Connecticut. And, well, that's who Toby Collins recommended, so we took them up to him. And he did minimal stuff. He cleaned them up and laid them down and pasted them and that sort of thing. They look a whole lot better. They were rolled up and filthy.
Beautiful.
This is Manchester Locomotive Works. Built by.
Have you got any like that?
Not big like that, no.
Oh, no.
That's a
I mean,
fancy.
can you find out things about railroad engines like that? And where would I look? Or should I just be content having the picture?
In the library, there should be something on the early American locomotive. I've got a couple of things home here I'll have a look at.
You see how that said
But for your own, some of those early American locomotive books in the library should be.
Okay, well, that's where I'll
It
start.
may not sound to you like they've got them, but they may have them and not even know it themselves sometimes.
Well, I keep
because
telling myself that I need
Too
to...
few people ask about
Yeah.
things like that.
But see, what does that mean?
That's the name of the locomotive. It's up under
Well,
the,
then, would it
They
be
name 'em
been similar?
well, yeah, it's post-Civil War time
War, yeah.
locomotive anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I think
Because I don't
one of the
think-
pictures is dated 1880, which is definitely...
There was nobody by that name important enough before then to name a locomotive.
Of course, they
after.
could have named it in Lincoln, Nebraska, because I heard that he worked out there, that was the end of the railroad line at one point.
Double
And
fishing, you can't.
he worked there until his wife made him bring her back to New York to civilization.
Built by Manchester. I remember that.
Built by
What I got
Manchester?
home,
Austin, you said the books in the library. Do you mean the Millbrook Library or the Adrian's?
I don't know what's in them. I've never looked through the books, through their file to see what they've got.
I'll have to try Millbrook first,
But,
I work there.
Yeah.
Pleasant Valley has some. And, I was looking at that while you were wandering through the other
Yeah,
room.
Bob Knapp, I think, found that in a book, or maybe it was his father-in-law, and they had it copied, I think, at the Bicentennial. I thought one of the historical societies had done it, but I'm not sure.
That's probably Pleasant Valley.
And he had one left,
Pleasant
and when
Valley.
we moved in, they came over and brought it to us, which
Isn't
is
that nice?
very kind of them. They're living down in Paracellas now.
Yeah.
And fix
There,
them.
there is an atlas though in the libraries too, with those identical maps in them.
Well, he may have had a copy of that then, because they had come across it in an old book. And
Well, Sally's awfully nice anyway.
oh, she's a
Sweet.
darling
Does it
person.
show
yeah.
it,
Great.
Yeah.
does it show a date anywhere on it?
1859, I think. It seems to me that somewhere that's what it says. It may be under the manic.
Well, when our society was
Before the
first
railroad
started,
days Anyway, because the railroad was only
Ethan
proposed down
Jackman, who had the Millbrook
there, and the railroad came through. in the
Central,
late 60s.
the Central Press then. Remember he was selling these at
I have one.
yeah, yeah, I have one,
of the
the town of Washington, but I don't know where he got the originals
Yeah.
from and printed them
I
out.
reckon I'll get my daughter's house. I'm gonna write at the back of that.
You gonna, what are you gonna write up about that?
Put the name of locomotive down in the manufacturer.
That's a good thing to do.
See, I get something out of this.
He'll find out. He'll find out.
Well, that's what Lois Rigolo said. That,
Yes,
that if I could get a hold of him.
It may take a little time, but you'll find out.
He'll find out. He'll
I
figure it out
just
looking.
was so curious because I'd been messing with the genealogy and I'd come to a dead end just beyond this fella. But these were sent to me from the attic of another relative, just, you know.
Wanted to get rid of them, thought you'd be a good
Well,
person.
his wife was actually the relative and she had died and he had remarried and they had no children, and so he was being kind and getting them back to the family. So my dad gave them to me because I was the one who was interested, so I could get them framed.
Very good, that's beautiful.
Good job.
You know, I thought it was lovely. He's got a patent too on an improvement to the steam engine. He was, I think he did boilers in Brooklyn in a candy factory after he left the railroad. But he's kind of interesting. You know, never was anybody really, but it's nice to have something he did.
Right, yeah.
So if you all want to walk up the driveway and look at glance at the buildings, feel free. The big barn in the back that's unpainted will be coming down in about 2 weeks, so it can't be redone without great capital investment. We don't need it. Well, we hate to lose it. We called the contractor in and asked if it could be repaired and what it would take, and he said it would take $20,000 and a lot of work. So we said, well, then it's going to have to come down. Every time I see Mary Downing, I feel guilty. I'm taking bits of her.
That's progress.
Charlie, we don't need to go up there. We've seen so much.
Oh, the second one will show you a little bit.
That comes up and that comes down.
Isn't that nice? I never saw one like that.
Thank you. I have seen that as a liquor cabinet too. It didn't have the drawers inside.
That's nice.
Wow.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Great.
Oh, yeah.
Very generous with us.
Yes.
And you missed all the early flowers and you're too early for the other ones. Yeah.
Isn't this beautiful?
Oh, everything got so messed up this winter. You know, lots of dead
hard
pieces.
on the shrub.
Yeah, and
Lots was so right. We lost lots.
yeah, almost every bush we have has been damaged in some way. And the weather has been so cold that I haven't been out. We're way behind.
Yeah.
There are flower beds around here that still have the leaves in them because we haven't gotten to them.
I've done it under very late with things too, because, it was so cold and everything, and had good weather. It's me like
Well, I've been doing a lot of work, but there's so much to do, and you can't, if you don't start early, it's kind of
hopeless. Get in the car. I've been everywhere here, so.
Okay.
The day after you
thank
think
you
about
very
winter,
much.
You're welcome.
the gardener down in Thorndale this morning said that they suffered wind damage. I mean, the yews and
Well, that may be what we
evergreens and
have
things like
too.
that. You know, he said there's too much wind.
Well, we may be having that
You may
problem.
have
We
that.
found that we should have sheltered all the ones here on the west side because we think we've lost most of that far rhododendron there against that gas tank. I guess the metal was cold and the wind blew.
Probably.
And I think if we'd sheltered it, but we hadn't sheltered the first year, nobody said anything, and we didn't realize.
He spoke as if
would
it
be
wasn't just low temperature, but wind. He said.
I think you may be right
Regardless
because
temperature.
there's a lot of browning.
I wouldn't know from my own experience. I'm just repeating what he said this morning.
Oh, that's the big barn over
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Which is a,
They used to have a few cows in
The
there once.
peach
You know.
house or the apple house, what thing farther up? Was it this one?
Well, I don't really know. Now, there was another place here that went to become the Knapp's garage, I understand. That was located here. And then up on top of the hill where there's an old tenant house, there's also a big red
That's where I went.
barn.
That's where they had the peaches in the
Uh-huh. That
yeah.
seems likely because it's up by where the peaches were. But that, that's on the property that didn't go with this place.
how much land do you have with
We
this?
have 1 or 2 acres. We have part of an acre outside of the village that you know, where it looks like our yard ends, it goes on.
Oh.
And that's outside of the village, and then we go back quite a ways.
Someone with a pigeon fancy.
Yes, that's coming down too. I'm afraid the floor is rotted out in that.
I
If
think
anybody,
you'll have to take it down.
it's it's on its way. We're afraid somebody will go in there and hurt themselves.
Well,
And
this is a road up through here. This went right on up to where the
Yeah,
the
to that
house and barn is up on the
well,
hill.
we have paths that were already mowed when we came that probably were the original roads through.
This was it.
Yeah,
right
there's
here.
one there, and there's one over there now, and one over here. And so we mowed where they mowed, and then we have tried to mow some more because it was all open. And it's a shame to have it grow up with underbrush
Right.
and all, but it has. And we've been mowing up in the orchard. We'd like to trim and spray, and we haven't gotten to that. It's a lifetime's occupation,
Yeah.
really, and nobody, with the exception of perhaps the very rich, can do justice to a place like this anymore.
Right.
My son spent an entire summer, year before last, painting that fence down there because the paint was coming off it in sheets. He scraped it, he painted it. It was beautiful. It needs painting. You know, it's just, and he spent the whole summer. So I don't know what we're going to do when it comes to keeping the place up. We've got roofs to tar this summer because all the garages leak. And we're going to put the glass back in if we can. And the carriage house, we finally, Judge Maury took his things away. And
Oh, Judge Maury had things
Judge
in here?
Maury had it crammed. And they told me I'd never get his stuff out. But he was always very charming to me. And I told him I wanted the building back. And so finally he came and took it all away except what wasn't his, which was what he didn't want. He's no dummy. So I have an awful lot of junk in there, but I'm hoping to clean that out and make it into at least a place where the kids can go and play. We cleaned out all these other 2 buildings. They needed again from our own junk, but we carted away stuff that must have been the awnings.
Oh, yeah.
Awnings that were so rotten and had been put in the top of this building and sat in the heat.
Really?
Yeah. Because each person who moves in just leaves the building, or the people who move out leave the buildings, and the people who move in just throw their stuff in on top. And, I mean, we made a terrible mess. I cleaned everybody else's junk out, and then I put mine in. And as we run in there in the winter and grab something and then throw it back, we hung all the tools up. Now they're all in a heap. So. Kind of a mess.
Did you paint all these buildings?
No, they need it. I have painted a lot of doors.
Karen
those
Martin, I
doors.
think, did some
Yes, she
painting
did
herself.
a lot of
these
painting.
barns.
Right.
I think she painted this barn.
Yeah, she painted them all. And then they needed it again when we came. And I painted, for example, that door, and they need it again. But you can tell what I didn't paint.
Well, there'll always be another
Our
day.
house is in the same state. Our house is in the
Well,
same
my mother
state.
says, you know, this whole state needs paint. When she came up here, because coming from Maryland and Virginia, most houses, whoops, you're going to get rained on, are built of
Weather
brick.
beaten up here, though.
Yeah.
And in Maine, when we first went to Maine, all the houses were weather beaten. Now they're pretty good.
I think people are keeping places up better.
Yeah,
But it's hard in this climate.
it certainly is.
Yes, I wonder if that tree was struck the other night. Or if that was the one that dropped the limb last year. I guess that must have been last year's limb.
The last few minutes I've been wondering if you had any demonstrations of how efficient your arresters might be.
Well, the house
Rod.
hasn't been hit yet, but three
I mean,
times.
something come in on a rod and run down.
Oh, it might.
You haven't seen it though.
No, I haven't seen it, but we have had to have 3 converters for the HBO. And the guy says that's electrical from the storms. Every time we have a storm, they have to come give us a new
Supercharge
HBO
on
box.
the line blows it.
That's what he said, but he says it's unusual to have that many. So, anyway.
Well, thank you so
I'm
much,
glad you
Mrs.
came
Say. Really
by.
appreciate it.
I'm sorry you didn't have a better day.
Well, that's all right. Thanks a lot.
I'm gonna look, see what I can find.
It's a little house. They rebuilt it.
At that time, we
had a
Well-
lovely bit, a lot of people.
The house is, you know, there, the main section of that house is quite a good size of this house. The Williams's house, the main section there is quite big. It's got like an addition on the side, but you mean, do you think the side addition was the original house, Charlie?
This side next to the driveway, the small part is the original house.
Yeah,
There's
that end there.
the whole front and going west is all
Because you
new.
can tell when you get in there. Oh, yeah.
Really?
Did Ed build that?
Well, most of them, they built it
What do you want to know?
when Ed and Pat first moved in there.
We were talking about
Ed and Pat who?
locomotive.
Downing.
Ed Downing was the son.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, we're gonna
okay.
find out if
Artificial
You
thing.
may know her.
It wasn't a real
well, it's
photograph.
the paint of the artist coloring the thing.
Isn't it?
Clarice, her name.
Oh, it was a hand-drawn job.
It was?
But it
It
wasn't
wasn't
me.
photographed.
I might know her by, okay.
No,
I
it
see.
didn't
It
look
looked more like a pen and ink job.
It looks like a child's
Yeah, black
track.
or green,
I don't think
very dark green.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's more like a.
But most of the information you're ever gonna find.
I record you. You got the original deed? No, you said, who had it?
Alfred E. Dietrich
Owned your
at
house.
one time.
Well, Charlie, weren't you saying that house was where the miller that,
Yes, they used it. Alfred E. Dietrich's father, Charles F. Dietrich, was the one that put Dayheim together, the whole thing, and built the mill and so on and so forth. And the person who was the miller lived in the house that you live in, Helen. That's George Saylor lived in there when he first came to Millbrook. He was the miller, and then after he went in the ice business.
He was a miller?
When he first came to Millbrook, that's what he did.
Not by name, by business. Is that what he meant?
yeah. He ran the mill.
There's one room in the house, and near the street, that had been used an awful lot before. This part, maybe that was the only I do research it, it had brown and red paint or something, and got down, and it really didn't turn out too well because it had been worn so much.
Maybe that was the office.
Might have been the office with more people, you know, going in and out.
Yeah.
Where Bart goes in, Bart Roberts.
Notre Dame. Who your family goes to Notre Dame?
My husband went.
Oh, yeah?
He was a graduate of that. And how long have you owned the house, Helen?
Since 1930, my father bought it.
Oh, your father bought it. Oh, wow.
1930. And for my sister. She lived on the other side. And
Oh.
she died, and her son is living there now, Bart Roberts.
Oh.
And when he first got it, there was no water, no electricity, and no heat.
I don't believe it at all. Sure. Well, nobody in Millbrook had electricity, water, anything. When I came to Millbrook, I thought I was going into civilization. I came from the boondocks up northern part of the state. My Lord. When I got to Millbrook, I thought I was at the end of the world.
There's a pump out in the backyard, yeah. And all the neighbors used to get their water from that pump.
Really?
I And it used to be yellow with white trim and green, I guess, on each other. And it had a long porch in the front. And we took it all off and put asbestos shingles on it. And we have changed some of the rooms somewhat. But the front is the same with the French doors.
Oh, there comes Ruth. Hi, Ruth.
Hi, Ruth.
Day, yeah, I know.
You just back it around and back it right up here. Walk them in under the umbrella.
Did you want to bring us?
Yeah.
We thought it was going to stop and we would just come in. This is Ruth Williams, everybody.
That's the one to buy.
Look us all over now and see if you approve.
Ruth's only been here for a month
A
about.
month, yeah. You have to excuse it.
They probably can tell you about it.
Right, that's what I told.
Okay.
You're telling somebody, you know, they probably know more about that.
Oh, what a lovely house.
Oh, wow.
No, I really was such a lovely house.
Well, like I say, we haven't done anything, you know, we get into some redecorating and painting and things, but we're not, you know.
You have to live in the place a while before you
Well, I
really
think
know
you
what
have
you
to
want.
get the feel of it and decide, you know,
Oh,
what
see?
you want.
I do.
So,
This is beautiful.
They use this room as a family. This would be part of it. Yeah. He's going to use it for his office.
Right there.
Then you would turn left here, Brian, it says.
And then go right around the end of the garage.
Oh, these barns are all freshly painted.
This is what they're redoing for horse breeding.
Yeah.
That's
So
a
they
little
built
exciting.
that cement one there when they had a lot of horses in there. They're right here.
That's the one they're
This is the garage. Right over there is where Barbara lives.
What's this?
Here's the brick wall.
This is that was the garage, and there was an apartment up overhead. They used to have a lot of gardens.
Park by the brick wall, so I get to the brick
Yeah, well, there's a lot of
be the garden.
gardens over
Mr.
there.
Stowe.
I don't know who works there anymore.
Mr. Stowe,
Mm-hmm.
she said in her letter on Mr.
What's his name?
Yeah, that's
Stowe.
Mr. Stowe.
Off me. I got ready for rain.
That's right.
Most
Scared
of the people
away.
know
I left my
Thorndale,
raincoat on the
I would
kitchen
imagine.
chair.
That'll do you a
most
lot of
do.
good.
Want it?
So we'll just walk around. Can't go inside the house.
No.
Walk around and just look into the new.
Can I pull some of the flowers out and like that,
No,
Bill?
you can't.
Keep an eye on it.
Oh, look at that. Now, is this where they're redoing the barn for the
Yeah,
horses?
well, after we'll walk over in there, you can see what.
They're fixing that up right there.
Oh, yeah. And all the inside over
Look at that trellis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I thought maybe some smoke or something.
Oh, my.
You do the top of your
Yeah.
That wall must have been old. It's probably very old. That wall needs
Well, this garden was built in 1934. It was designed by Nellie Allen. And when they designed this, well, as you walk around Thorndale, you notice there's all different focal points. As you look here, you look down through, and the focal point is that big street on the other side of the pond. We'll walk around this, and it's very unusual street. Probably some of you have been over there and seen it. But you can't really visualize what it looks like until you're right underneath it. It's all undergrown, and it's quite a thing.
Look at that one over there with the.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be hard to do. I suppose. It's a real holy.
And you lose, a lot of time you lose
Yeah.
parts of the figures, you know,
I
the
don't know
heads
how
or
they
a wing or
can
something, and you have to
that way.
train a new
Every time I
part.
That little head died right there.
comes up,
Through the
Yeah,
winter.
we lose some. And
I don't know how they do that.
we had a lot of windburn this year with ewes. These small operations can cover, you know, with burlap, a lot of other stuff. But we've got so much stuff that we just can't do it.
Nancy Bridges are showing us in their slide last night. In one scene, this is in Bangkok, I guess, or Burma. They had a herd of elephants. You couldn't believe it. Big elephants with the babies. All totally. That was the most incredible.
Imagine keeping that
Can you imagine?
Now, is that just a little house over there, garden house for
It
supplies?
used to be the Oakley Thorne's office, old Oakley Thorne, where he did all his farm business and stuff, and garden business. Well, Mrs. Oakley Thorne did most of the garden work, but he had all the say with the farm. That was years ago. Well, we can wander around.
You know, one thing I did forget too is
And bring the water over on the side. That's all planted out in the summer. In front, in between the spring.
did you get a picture of the house, Bill?
Anybody want to take a picture? You can get a better picture from across the pond.
Okay.
That tree was here before the garden.
Yeah, this tree was there a long time. Probably 200 years old.
What kind of tree is it?
It's a spruce.
Look at the arms on it.
Is this a natural pond or is it man-made?
It's man-made.
Yeah.
How many other different places in
Yeah. Was that spruce, do you think, native of the area, or was it planted
No,
there?
it's a native. It's a native spruce. And it's originally, the main leader was knocked out either through storm or something. And the limbs have made individual leaders on their own to compensate for the main leader.
Little ones that have.
Yeah. You can train a spruce pine to do that somewhat if you take out the main leader very short. That's a very unusual one. It's probably more unusual.
Meditate.
Check the lighting.
Oh, be sure to get all of it right.
Try to keep it
Yeah.
What's in that little hole right there?
problem, you know.
Go in and find out, Brian, and let us report out. How do you feed it, though?
Feed it, go around the base of the tree and feed it.
What, dig holes and...
Crowbars.
Yeah.
Cedar.
Bloom together.
Spruce.
Did it go straight up from the center one there one time?
Well, originally it had a leader on it,
Yeah.
The leader got knocked out and it was, quite small. And all the limbs went to individual leaders on their own.
Look how these two limbs have grown together. Yeah, and then up here it's also grown together.
They like each other. They're in love.
They've just fused together. Isn't that unbelievable?
All he does is as long as we don't wake him up.
It's just one other man with me all the time.
How many did they originally have to maintain the land, do you know?
About 15.
About 15.
See, this was where you see the tail ends of the daffodils. They're all naturalized in this area where the grass is tall. We left it long because you can't cut them back until they start to yellow down. But this usually a week ago this was pretty much all the way down along the creek.
You think they die out when you're with the grass kind of pushing them?
No, they're a pretty hardy breed. They multiply.
This is the last of the estates in Dutchess County really around. That's really kept
one
up.
of the last ones still operating. Being maintained.
Being maintained at any degree, yeah.
You get the creek across the road.
Oh.
And then when you get heavy rains,
This would be very
years
high.
ago they just had an open bridge, but it, from the heavy rains from flooding, they washed out so many times that they made a real rugged aqueduct here.
That's a good idea.
I've seen it when it's really running fast in the stream. It's just flying right up out of that aqueduct
Really?
where it smashes against that wall.
Yeah.
This stream here gets pretty high. Sometimes it goes right over top of the bridge.
Really?
I like to use the water.
Now this aqueduct over here, that's from a stream coming from which
That's from the
direction?
stream that comes along there and goes underneath.
It did it, and
Goes
so it
underneath the
didn't make
roadway.
so much. Too, Sal. Huh? Isn't that gorgeous?
Yeah. Look at the beauty of this house. She's home. Oh, dear. Oh, look at the bird. There's a nest up there. Good morning.
Mrs. Thorne, this is a group.
Sorry, I can't be with you, but we have an open house at the kennels today,
Oh,
the Foxhound Kennels. So
very nice to meet you.
Gotta do my dress here. Glad you don't have rain anyway.
Yes, lucked out there.
Yes, yes. Enjoy it.
Thank
Not
you.
too many of you came today.
No,
this
I think
weather.
the rain scared everybody
Well,
away.
I think we might have the same problem up there. Nice to see you. You should know that by now, right? Having beagles all over the place. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Look at the bird up there in the nest.
This is another focal point. Years ago there was a vista that ran down through here, and it was right in line with that water pavilion down there.
I have some old photographs of that.
You might remember the vista down through here.
Right straight.
Yeah, it went right straight down. There was maples that were trimmed, squared off, and sighted right down to that water pavilion. But through the years, the maintenance, it was so much that it had to be eliminated. It's just too much work.
I'm glad they took the pool out.
Pardon?
I'm glad they took the pool out.
Yeah, that was no advantage.
No, it wasn't.
The pink dogwood didn't do much this year, did it?
No.
We have one in it.
The whites, some of the whites.
Do they go every other year?
Well, sometimes you can go for a couple of years. It depends on where they're situated, if they're protected. We have some dogwoods that aren't going to do good.
Someone told me they need a lot of water.
Well,
They don't
I
stand
don't
the
think
cold
they
as
need
well,
any
do
more water than any other tree, but they do better in a protected area where they're not exposed to winter winds.
The winter. Isn't it pretty?
Now there's like a little arch. Does the water that I see there go through that doorway there, or?
No. That's just another pond down there, and there's a dam down there too.
I see. Okay.
Originally, that original Oakley Thorn had that built. They were going to have a swimming pool. There was going to be a walkway come out through that doorway that you see, and then have a pool out in the middle of the pond, and for freshwater swimming. Inside the pond itself.
Oh, inside the pond there was going to be a freshwater swimming pool.
There's going to be a pool, raised above the water level.
Wow.
And that was
That's
the
different.
idea of it. There's the rooms down there for changing clothes and stuff. But
Really?
he did this later in years when he never finished the project. That was the idea of it, really.
Isn't that something? Now that pond is also from this stream.
This stream feeds that
That pond. Wow.
I remember years ago, one time there was
Once a year.
Turmoil.
Once a year.
You look right straight down that.
Takes about 2 months once we start on use to do them all.
What time of the year do you do them, Bill?
Started around August.
August?
Yeah. Late summer. And
What, the pruning?
yeah. We can only do them once a year.
Like you just had a fresh haircut.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they get pretty much grown out by August.
Yeah.
There's so many of them that we just can't put them in.
Look at the flower bed down there. Isn't that pretty?
Come down and get the haircut.
Could you do it, Bill?
I could rough them out.
The bowl, so smooth.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it. That's pretty green.
I sort of like the way that one is done.
Yes.
That one right there. Whoops.
Yeah.
And
And
then the
those
two
were
look
the
like
birds.
birds.
Yes.
Thorndale, 1787.
Oh, get a picture of that, Brian.
Pansies have taken a licking from so much rain.
Yeah, they're pretty.
They were nice here a couple weeks ago. We got too much rain and they rotted.
And now in the summer you said what's?
The round beds are all planted out to
Begonias?
red begonias, and then all these beds are all filled in with impatiens. It's quite shady in here, and they do well for impatiens.
Oh, wow.
It's just a solid mat of the patients in here in the summertime.
What is this purple that's blooming now?
That's a blue fox.
And then that dies off?
That dies down.
I see.
But you can leave it right there and plant the other in it?
Yeah, you just cut it back. Yellow's gone.
This little red, what is that called?
It's just a wild columbine.
Columbine, that's it.
It's
You
a
used
wild
to,
variety.
yes,
Most everything in here between the rocks is all wild stuff.
because you used to see a lot of this around, and I guess people have picked it enough so that it's very rare now.
It's pretty good.
You see those up in the woods?
Oh, yeah.
Pardon me?
Columbine?
Yes, you used to. You don't really see. I haven't seen them recently.
This is their new indoor pool. They built a couple years ago.
Look at the architecture on this, over these doorways. Oh, my. Oh, this is connected right to the house.
Yeah, it goes right.
Oh, my.
No diving board, huh? There's no diving board. Oh, is there?
No diving board here.
Oh, wow.
Looks pretty nice.
I guess so.
We're getting work done.
Is there heat in the room here?
Yeah.
They got. Oh, I see the radiators there. Sure.
Look at that fish over there.
Mm.
Do they use it that often? Is it well used?
Yeah, they use it.
This thing is bigger than my house.
They're going through all the houses, insulation.
I saw that.
Really?
You know, I went
They
by
look
one day
funny because
and your house
My
was
house is
terrible,
a-
and I thought, oh, dear, isn't that a
What
shame?
on earth are
Folks
they
letting
doing?
the place run
It's
down.
going to all the pieces.
They have siding on it?
They're going to have, they're all insulated. They blew in insulation and they put some kind of a slab of insulation, then vinyl siding on the outside.
Oh, really? They blew in insulation. They put the vinyl or
They
the
put a
they
thin
just-
foam insulation outside and then a vinyl
siding.
siding on it
Wow.
to help cut down.
Good morning.
Hi.
You gotta go all the way around that way a little bit, I guess.
There's a walk that goes.
100 feet to step.
There's a walk that goes around them.
I saw the holes
Yeah,
beside
where
your
they-
house and the
where
house
they
next
float
door.
in.
Yeah,
Oh, I love the flowers you have out around it.
yeah.
Oh, they always look so,
That's gorgeous,
it makes that ride up that road
Yeah.
so much better.
Well, the red begonias that you see in the summer in those beds are the same as we use in these
Oh,
rounds
they
here.
really look really. And didn't you have pansies there last year?
I've got pansies there now.
Yeah, oh, they were
They
so
don't look.
pretty.
Painters been walking on them and
Yeah,
scraping
I'm
paint
sure,
on
of
them.
course.
They're killing them.
Do you raise your own begonias, Bill, or do you buy? You raise them?
We grow everything.
Do you let the tulips all die completely down, or do you cut them when they're...
Well, when the leaves get pretty well yellowed down, then we mold. No, maybe the next time they mold, they'll be yellowed down.
Now they're scraping all the barns and they're repainting them all
Mhm.
in all the houses.
All the houses are being done under
Contract.
big job. Plus they're redoing the stable.
Mm.
How many, they're gonna have quite a few horses or whatever.
Yeah, they've got 6 now. They're ready. They're in Dutchess County. That as soon as they get some fencing.
All the way around the house, across the lake, and to here.
Wow. That barn over there is gigantic. How long is it? Do you know how many feet long it is?
I have no idea.
It's just so big.
Do they have, like Black Angus?
They have Black Angus, and they have a few pigs,
Yeah.
they have a few chickens.
Chickens.
They have crochet.
Oh, wow. Good morning.
Morning.
These will be planted out the annual flowers for, just to have something there in the summer. Those 2 beds over there will be cut flowers, have some cutting flowers.
Now that stone house up there, was that built for one of their daughters?
Yes.
That's what you were telling us one night, Charlie? That, yeah.
Mrs. Parker.
Lastly, she was Margaret Parker.
Right. She was.
The first one was Carl. Lived there. That's when they built the house. Edward H. Carl. And she had a daughter. I can't think of the girl's name. She had a daughter by the name of Carl. And then after that was H.B. Smith. And then Cheryl Parson.
He built 2 homes. This one and the Cardinal Hayes.
That was the other daughter.
Right.
How many acres did this encompass?
Farm and all.
Really?
Big place.
The Mr. Thorne that owns it now and lives here now, he is the grandson of the original Oakley Thorne?
No, he's great-grandson.
Oh, great-grandson.
Well, let's move. Sal's getting tired of standing up.
Was it this man's grandson that gave Cardinal Hayes to the Archdiocese of New York, or?
I think Oakley,
This man's
Oakley
father.
Thorne probably did.
He was a nice man, Oakley Thorne. Awful.
This is a 3rd generation. Well, there's 4 generations right now.
So was the Giffords. They were awful nice, too.
They've owned this over 200 years. It's been in the Thorne family for over 200 years.
Really?
Originally, they acquired the land from a land grant.
Yeah.
Originally, so it's been in the family over 200 years.
That's all right.
Have the Thornes have lived here continually then?
No. The one who lives here now, when he first got married, he lived up the East Farm.
That's the one on
the one you see on top of the hill from the
yeah.
road.
Yeah, okay.
And then
Have that tree to climb up.
his
to.
father lived here for a while.
Down on them.
And then it was not being lived in for a number of years
Yeah, but he's having the whole
until
place
young Oakley Thorne moved.
complete.
It's been empty
Look at the birds making
on and off
nests
for
back.
years.
How many rooms are there in the house? How many rooms are there in the house?
I think there's around 30. They're quite big rooms. A lot of them are quite big. This ballroom runs the whole length of this house. If you look in the window, you can see the length of the ballroom, and that's where it carries on right out into the pool.
Oh yes, yeah.
This storm just went away. She stopped and saw it.
Oh wow.
Oh, yeah.
Goodness.
Does it need to have a ballroom?
Yeah, there's a ballroom right here. That's where they entertain mostly when they have large groups.
Beautiful. That pool at the end really is.
Yeah. Gorgeous.
Well, it's nice that they're keeping the grounds up and the buildings up.
It is. There's not. This is the only one left. Around this area, that's still being operated.
And the living room.
Yes. Yeah.
They have 2 floors.
2 children. Oakley has two boys from the first marriage.
Oh yeah.
They're pretty much grown up.
You know, all the years I've lived here, I've never been down in here. Really?
Well, you'd really kind of have to. I mean, you just wouldn't drive in somebody's private estate unless you had a reason or an invitation. What is this little box here for?
Flag box.
Oh, flag box. I'll be darned. And it's painted to the brick so that you, isn't that?
Years ago, they used to have a flag here. They used to put up every day. And then there was another walk that went from the driveway out to the other drive on the other side. But we eliminated it to, cut down on maintenance. You have to shear the edges, and you have to scuff weeds, and it's just got too much.
That was the only thing about those old cutters.
So the driveway used to go around the house?
Used to go right around where there's a gateway here. That's where it used to go.
Oh yes, okay. Just look at this side entrance. That's bigger than most people's front entrance. Wow. Now they live in the entire house, or they just live in a section of it?
No, they live in the full house.
Mm.
It must be nice just to walk around your grounds, huh?
Ah. And this building here was,
That
why
was
don't you get a
Oakley
picture of that,
Thorne's
Brand? That was Oakley Thorne's office.
farm office, so he did his farm business.
Want a picture of that?
It was quite an operation years ago. They had a lot of farm help, and he had a lot of interest in farming. He had.
Wasn't he the first one to bring Angus in?
He brought Angus in. I think when he was operating up Briarcliff, when they had they started their Angus herd there.
You know, toward Pine Plains,
That big farm on the left.
Oh, on the left, that
before you
used to be, okay. Oakley Hill originally, that was so not too long ago. What was that called? No, I know which one you mean.
Brown owned it.
It has a huge, I think one of the largest barns in the United States. It's like an open shed. I know which one you mean.
I think
there.
they still call it Briarcliff, even when Brown owned it.
Yeah.
And
Thorne
Thorne owned that originally?
Oakley Thorne owned that.
Really?
He owned a lot of land, all the way up through Smithfield, Pine Plains, all that area.
Mm.
He owned all that land where Mrs. Parson
Oh, he did? I didn't realize.
Yeah. He owned a lot of land once. You haven't seen the stable, Sally, since they started working on it. You've never seen the stables?
I've been in the...
Well, years ago, this was set up for a hunt stable. And, of course, with this fourth operation they have now, they have to change the design of the inside and make the stalls bigger to accommodate broodmares.
Yeah.
Now, who's doing the architectural work on it?
I don't know exactly. Somebody drew up some plans for Oakley, but I don't know. I just planted out these beds.
I was going to say, you got all these impatiens out here, yeah.
They'll all fill out. There'll be just a mat of flowers then during the summer.
They're such pleasant flowers. They give so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty no flower. I like them. They do well in the shady areas.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Oh, look at this. So you gutted it?
Huh?
You gutted the,
This
the
was all,
original.
yeah, all the old stalls were taken out.
Oh, really?
Were the stalls in here?
Yeah. Each end, you see there's two wings. You walk around the other end, you'll see that's in the process of being renovated.
But these are the original stalls?
Oh no, they're all new.
This is all new?
They have their names on it. TNT Connection. Oh, okay. What is the average size of the stall, Bill? It's larger than 12 by 12, isn't it? The average stall, or are these? This is a broodmare.
Some are bigger than others.
Yeah.
Some are bigger than others.
These are really small.
They got the horses already. They got the names on them.
Yeah, they've got it.
Oh yeah.
They've got their horses. It's all bordered around Dutchess County now.
So what? There are about 16 stalls in here.
Yeah.
They were small.
It was designed for a hunt stable where you use smaller stalls.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sure is. They need a lot of room for home. That's a lot of work to do.
Yes.
How you doing, Don? Jim? Jim's a horseman. If you want to ask any questions, ask him. He knows more about it than most of us.
What are those things you're painting?
Part-time painter.
Yeah.
Full-time horseman.
Are these for the horses?
No, flowers.
Oh. I hadn't seen that in a horse before.
They go on their legs.
That's something new that invented them.
Right, yeah.
Where are you going to put on top of the concrete? The stalls you're putting in there? They hope to have about 10 mothers. And they have 10 babies and 10 year olds, so we're venturing that with about 30. That's what they're thinking about. Right now we got 6. We hope maybe by middle of June we'll actually have the rest of we'll have to be on line.
It's nice to have this all used again.
Yeah.
Life in the place again.
Oh, it'll be a lot of life.
Yeah, it's sold all over.
Thorndale, come back to life again, Jim.
Yeah.
Exercising, you know.
Well, we're not gonna do any riding thing. We're just having, we're raising the foals and stuff for the sales in New York State breeders. So. Yeah, that's all we're not gonna. We may have one eventually, if 2 may race, you know, after 4 or 5 years, and I keep it flow or something. Try and see how, just depending on how well the others do. But they don't want to get into the racing at all. They just want to, just to be a breeder. No, but they looking good right now. We got 4 babies standing. Oh. Yeah, so far so good.
Oh, yes, it is. You can wash them. Well, you can wash them in the shower. Is this brick floor slippery?
It's cork.
This is a cork floor?
Yeah, these are cork floors. You know, all the old barns in Millbrook you go into, they all just about has this. Like one person or contractor, whoever did that during that time. This is the kind of floor all the barn has in.
They're actually bricks made from cork?
Yes, there's one of them right there. You can see it. See that? See the outer edge of the way it looks? Yeah.
Can you buy replacements now, or do you just have to take them to an old barn?
No, if we can find old barns or someplace where the brick out, then we say that.
Isn't that
then we
something?
keep doing that with us.
Gonna have flowers.
Yeah.
That is something.
Looks a lot different than it did, don't it, in here?
Oh yeah. Oh, we're hoping all the models sort of looking better. Once we get all the trash and stuff out, get everything fixed up, get it cleaned out a little bit more. And a little bit more window pane cleaners and trimming here and there. Yeah.
You know, it echoes. You can hear your voice outside. It goes,
This is beautiful. So glad to see it, coming back to life.
I like to see things do well, like instead of going
Down, yeah.
so many.
Such a beautiful barn, stable.
A lot of people, these Bridge Estates is all over.
Oh yes, well, there's nobody having interest in them no more. Nobody cares.
Have you had any little colts?
We got 4. We got 4 colts. In fact, we got one now, just about a month old, a little over a month old.
Oh, they're dark.
But we just don't have, if we have the pastures and things up, they would be here, but the pastures, the fencing isn't put up yet. And right now it's just too wet, we can't get the posts in, it's just mostly water and mud there. But as soon as that is done, we hope, as I said, about the middle of June or last of June, we should have them in the barns.
But I didn't share this things.
So, in fact, we got one just about a week old. We had one before last week.
They're pretty expensive babies they are, aren't they?
Oh yeah, yes.
Yes, so.
Yeah.
Where you don't have a stallion here, do you?
No, we won't have one. They don't want to keep a stud or either board any outsiders. They just want to do it themselves. He and his partner, a man named Mr. Eaton, get eaten out of Kentucky.
So you'll just bring them out to be bred too?
Yes, we'll transport maybe back and forth in and out of Kentucky, and we'll use a lot of New York State stallions too. Right now he has interest in maybe about 3 or 4.
I see. Okay. Wow.
Way up.
Well, we got one. They got 2. I think they paid $187,000 for them, and the other was average a little over $100,000 each.
These are all thoroughbreds.
Yes, these are all
That's why he's here, and everything's perfect.
Yeah, we're trying to get it that way. I don't know how well I'm gonna do, but we're gonna try.
It says on the paper that he wanted you right with him. You're in the maternity ward.
Yes, yes.
I can't believe that though. The windows we knocked out was all full of the cows.
Yeah, it was all messy. When I first looked in there, I said, God, forget it. I don't think you'll ever.
I thought you would.
Yeah, jeez. Look down the alleyway, all you can see was cobweb, dust, and the ceiling was falling out and everything.
The ceiling was
Yeah, it was a
falling
couple
out?
big holes down there on that end when we passed. That whole end down there was practically all right. And inside the rooms in there, I don't know if you go inside the rooms, they can see we fixed all that up too.
This is the office.
Yeah, this is what we're gonna have the office. Yeah, see, all the walls in the back was all busted out, you know, from the dampness and the what's the name? It just had done, you know.
Now this is
the
all
grains would fall that feed up the stairs. It was coming all down through the holes. It was a mess, you know. But we got it all out and we plastered it back up again.
Now these walls were originally cement.
Yes, everything is cement and tile. That's all of it. Nothing but tile and cement. Yes,
In the
that
beginning,
is.
that's
Yes.
what made it come back.
It was just dirty. That's what it was really. It was just dirty and dusty. That was the worst part.
Well, it sure looks a lot different. It did. I used to babysit with the back kids, and we used to run down through here and go through, run up and down through here.
Yeah.
And so, oh my God, I can't believe it.
It just was too nice a place to let go so.
Oh, yes. Look at all the new electrical wiring and everything.
Yeah, those on the back there are timers for the stalls. They are for the lights and things at night when the mayor's comes in. What that's for is they use the light and timers to get them to cycle in the spring so they'll be able to come in season early so they can breathe them fairly on schedules.
I read some of that. It's that's interesting.
Yes, it is. And they claim it really works. It may bring them cycling like a month earlier than normal.
Good times, and it has to be just perfect.
They get their minds thinking spring is coming early. That's the whole idea.
That's something, the daylight.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is really.
It's going to be nice when we get it all back together.
Yes.
It was nice in the first place.
Yes.
I bet you'd be glad to get the horses.
Oh yeah, I'd love to see them run around out there. Yeah.
Just looking at the rules is not so much fun.
No.
What is that, Austin?
Aerial picture of the whole area.
And will the fencing be all around here, Jim?
Yes. Yes, but not all the way up the hill, but it'll go up and kind of go along the edge and come back down the side of the road and just all be blocked off here. And then all out front will be paddocks too.
Well, it's like your place. They're keeping it up nice. I bet you feel good too. There's two places, but a lot of them are going to all the pieces of the rich estates. But
The older generation passes on. If there's any younger ones that are on, they don't want to take it on. They don't have the money.
Yeah.
they want to go to the islands anyway. They don't want to be in Millburn.
There's a check set.
Yeah. Let them go. We'll stay here.
Yeah, this is before the arboretum.
I think it's nice in Millburn. Don't you say you don't like it. You'll need it. Everybody has a place.
So you think eventually you'll have, what, 10 mothers, and 10 foals, and 10 yearlings, so
Yeah.
have about 30.
Yeah, but the thing is, by the time we get ready to wean, we hope the 10 yearlings are on their way out.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, going to the sales by then,
Yes.
so we'll have the room
Well,
for the
they're
next one.
sold when they're about a year old, isn't it?
About a year and about maybe 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, because what, the sale is in August?
Yeah, yeah. So what we try to do is get them to foal as early as possible, like March and April. And that'll
So
give
by
them-
August, they're a little over a year old?
Yeah, yeah, about a
okay.
year, 15 months.
Yeah.
And that usually be nice. Usually you can have units good size about that. They'll be standing maybe about 15, 150. Yeah, and I've had a couple of years ago, we took one up there with almost 16 hands in it. Big, good looking gray coat. Yeah. But it's a lot of patience and care. I tell you, it ain't easy to get them. You gotta, yes, it's a lot of looking after them, a lot of watching. And, you know, it's just depending on the weather too around here and things like that. But the weather here is the main factor in getting them out because it's so damp and humid at times, and you know, and the flies and things are so bad. You gotta think the first 6 months is kind of the critical part. Because they get colds, not enough relief, just like kids, you know, and they can catch pneumonia right now. So once you get them through from, say, maybe March, got them through into November and October, you got it pretty well licked by then. Yeah. Then once you wean the mothers and get them eating on their own and get them going, they put it in, but you about got them.
I'll tell them that you were very nice too. So you get you a raise. We should put a little piece in the paper, I think. Thank you. We'll say how nice it is.
Oh, good. So we could all get a pay raise?
Yeah. Get you a raise.
Oh, good.
Who did the design for it all the stores?
Well, Mr. Eden what happened is Todd went down to Kentucky and looked around, and he did most of it, you know, the handwork and putting it together himself. But he just went down there, they looked around, and they kind of came up with their own ideas of what had to be done. And, you know, between him and I, we kind of come up and do this and we'll do that. Put it that way, you know, the colors, what should be painted, what shouldn't be painted. And, you know, we didn't want to put in too much or too less of anything.
You're right.
So right now, we figure we got enough red in there the way it looks.
Yeah, it looks lovely. Yeah, the dark green, the red, the white.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It is. It's lovely.
It really blends in. It ain't too much.
No, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Jimmy.
Okay.
Does somebody live in the house up there? Yeah, somebody should take care of the dogs in the house.
You can hear them bark in the village, and early morning.
Beagles and bastards.
About 6 o'clock. You can hear that. They must be getting ready to eat.
This barn over here, that's for the Angus, is it?
Yeah, they've been, well, they used to have more Angus here than they have. They have about 20 head now. But that was, originally it was a sheep barn, years and years ago. But they've been using it for cattle lately. That's going to be all painted.
Will that have vinyl put on it too?
No, it's going to be painted.
Just painted.
What are they going to have in there? Horses too?
No, they'll be used for cattle. Eventually, the horse operation gets big enough. It could expand.
I said to Mac, you can't use it. I said, "Go. You don't help me drive those cattle back in. Put them down our road so they wouldn't get the wheat and put them all in the field. So I don't know. I don't know if they were his. You wake up.
Yeah.
You're still in one.
Right.
You're welcome to look at the greenhouse if you got time or if you're interested.
Oh, it's beautiful.
That'd be nice.
Where's that? Down that way.
Very fair.
You know, looking at these buildings that you've just put the, what did you say that siding was?
Vinyl.
Vinyl. You know, from here it looks like it's just, yeah. Pointed.
You know, you should have told us that time off, warned us, put something on our feet.
Well,
Yeah, but they're no good if my feet is wet.
Steak greenhouse. Everything in here is used.
Raise the things that you want.
Right.
Things you need for your flower beds and these big plants, winter them over here, and then cut them, trim them back, and they'll be ready to go out.
Besides, you want the tomato sandwich for lunch, you
Yeah, tomatoes year round.
instead of those
Nothing
things.
wrong with that.
No.
Nothing wrong with that.
yes, thank you. It was really sweet.
It was very kind of you to spend your time with us. We appreciate it. We appreciate it very much.
Well, what are these out
It's a
by the
real
other greenhouse?
sweet
Almost
treat.
like lettuce.
This is
Is it? Bibla, yeah.
Oh, that's bib lettuce?
Yeah.
I thought maybe it was a variety of the spinach or something, because it was so green.
So
It's
pretty.
bib lettuce. Okay.
That'll get a little lighter when it gets
Yeah.
more mature.